Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Jami Epstein from My Life Coaching Center here in New York City. We train professional coaches, people to become coaches. This evening, I'm with one of my best friends, Myrna Turnell, who is a wonderful coach and scientist. Myrna, good evening. Thank you for joining me.
Good evening. How are you? Thank you for
I'm doing well,
having
thank
me.
you. Yeah,
That's
I'm happy
good.
to see you. Happy to see you again. Okay, tell us about your nutritional background, your professional standings in the community, what you do in the community, and how you help people.
So as Dr. Jami Epstein said, I am a research scientist and I'm also a holistic nutritionist and a health and wellness life coach. I work in cancer research. Currently, I manage a biochemistry lab in a major cancer hospital in New York City. I'm also passionate about health and wellness, the integration of, Western and Eastern philosophy, so you get the best of both worlds. And my passion took me on that route to become a holistic nutritionist. And I work in the community. I do community workshops and events just to educate people about holistic health and nutrition and how to live a better life. So I like to think of it like of an integration of science and nature for a better lifestyle.
Now, you have some events coming up, I understand. Tell us about those events that not only help the community, but also help people worldwide, because I understand as a professional coach, your practice is worldwide.
Yes, actually, I do have a telehealth practice. It's a secure, HIPAA compliant um, platform in which I could do live, secure video chat with clients, and also I have an app in which they can reach me, enter like their food journals or a chat or ask questions and reach me at any time based on their needs. And in terms of events, due to our current state of the world, I have a few events coming on, and they're all online events. So a little bit about my business is called Life Compass Health and Wellness, and that has the philosophy of encompassing the entire body, which is mind, body, spirit, your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health, and also your financial health. And I just added a new service in terms of financial health because in the state of the economy right now, a lot of people are hurting due to being furloughed or laid off or losing their job. So I think that has a big impact on everyone, and your financial health is important because it does affect your mental health and your physical health. Stress is very real, and it does have a full body effect. So in terms of events, I have an event coming up next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. It's a free financial literacy event in which you can learn ways to secure your financial future and your financial health. So you can find that on my Facebook page, which is Life Compass 3. And also in September 13th, I'm having a detox event in collaboration with the Integrative Medical Facility located in the Bronx. And we're going to talk about ways to detox your mind and your body. And
Okay.
I will be doing a live Q&A, Ask the Nutritionist, because sometimes people wonder, you say holistic nutritionist, and what exactly is a holistic nutritionist? So that will be coming very soon.
Okay, speaking of holistic nutritionist, what is a holistic nutritionist?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So a holistic nutritionist approaches a person based on their mental health, their mindset, their physical health, their emotional health, and spiritual health. So you look at the entire person as a whole, as opposed to just pinpointing a particular problem. Say if you have a ailment, there's many factors that contribute it. And I mentioned stress earlier. Stress impacts all of these factors. It affects your mindset, it affects your sleep, it affects your physical well-being, and your mental state and your emotional state as well.
With all that said, which is a lot, and I thank you. Let's educate the people who would like to see us around the world on those areas. Specifically, the mindset, the physical set. How do you understand how it affects the body physically and or psychologically, as far as from a nutritional point of view?
Well, yeah, there's many aspects of that, and I think the way you perceive yourself and the way you see the world and your environment impacts you. Either you're happy or you're energetic, or you might feel depressed or despair. And when people are happy or energetic, they feel like they could take on the world and do anything. So they're more in tune with their environment and they're happier. When people are faced with struggles and difficulties and change and uncertainty, it takes a toll on your body. And on a physical level, you have changes in biochemical, and you tend to have more stress hormones, and stress hormones tend to increase your risk of certain diseases, like diabetes or high blood pressure or heart attack or stroke. You could also affect your sleep patterns. If you don't sleep, then you tend to have higher risk of these things, because your stress level increases, you have a higher level of cortisol in your system. So there's many factors that affect your health.
In your practice, what do you see the most that's depleting an individual physically, would you say, and emotionally, would you say?
Well, in my practice, I focus a lot on nutrition. And in terms of nutrition, is not just what you eat, it's how you think about yourself, how your self-image. And it's all about the mindset. If you have anxiety or you're stressed out, you tend to go for comfort foods. You want to go for, the chocolate or the ice cream or the donut, because it makes you feel better, but in reality is detrimental to your body physically.
One of the things that you do as a coach is that you also help people. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My thing dropped here. You help people with the mindset as far as holding them accountable, as far as their behavior is concerned. Is that correct?
Yes. So what I do in terms of helping people with their behavior is try to understand what their hesitation, what their biggest fear is, what's holding them back from achieving their fullest potential, and whether they want to, feel better, or they want to change their diet, they want to control a certain ailment, like, for example, losing some weight or lowering their cholesterol, having better sleep. So what I do is I try to figure out what's the root cause, what's their biggest concern, and the anxiety and the fear behind that.
What do you see is the biggest issue of failure with old clients, new clients, or people you've had who had success, but for some reason along the way, their mindset changes and they start to dip down?
I would say I think we live in a fast-paced world, and because of the pandemic, we were forced to slow down and reevaluate things. So I think one of the reasons why people tend to fail is when they get caught up in the day-to-day activities and they're constantly on the go, and they don't take the time out to actually practice self-care. So other things become a priority, like work or taking care of kids, which is important, but you have to remember you have to take time out for yourself as well.
When you talk about self-care, can you be a bit more specific about self-care?
Well, self-care is like your physical and your mental health and your emotional health, right? If you are stressed, you tend not to sleep well. You have anxiety, your mind is constantly going. You might feel emotionally drained, and then you tend to lose sight of your physical health. You don't focus so much on your nutritional intake. You focus on things that make you feel good when you eat them, right? And so you're not very conscious of what your intake is, because you're not focused on yourself or your well-being. you're constantly in a state of go, go, go. And sometimes you need to just pause and take a breather.
One of the things that I've seen over the years in working with addiction coaches is that many people use alcohol to kind of nod themselves out or try to get some sleep. But alcohol is one of the worst drugs you can put in your body, and you really don't sleep well because it causes sleep disturbances.
Yes, it does. And it actually causes dehydration. It causes
Correct, yes.
a lot of issues. But what it does is it numbs that emotional state temporarily, right? So people take like alcohol as a way of not having to feel a certain way, right? So they get a false sense of, I guess, nostalgia, or I feel good because I'm intoxicated, but that wears off. And once it wears off, I'm no saint. I've had, days that I used to go out and I would have a few drinks and, hang out and stuff, but then you come home and then the next morning you physically feel bad. You feel tired, lethargic, and your body's like, okay, what did you do? Right? So it's just a temporary fix to, I guess, numb emotional stress.
Well, it isn't really a temporary fix. It's a destruction. If you think back in the college days where we would just party, party, party before an exam the next day, and then we get up and like our head is about this big and we're dehydrated and we really can't function properly. But we take that exam anyway, thinking that, hey, party, party, party. If I know what I knew now, what I knew then, it would be a different story.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I guess when you're in that age group and you're in a certain atmosphere, you think it's fun, right? And you want to be part of the crowd, and you don't stop and think. You're just going with the flow, right?
True, true. When I wrote my book, Words Are Weapons, years ago, one of the places I did my research was in movie theaters, laundromats, and bars.
Okay.
And it was interesting. Beg your pardon?
No, that's interesting places. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, well, think about this. Laundromats, if you look at the mindset of individuals, who do the clothes and who do laundry, and the way they think about certain things, and then, like you said, rush, 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 rush. In movie theaters, you would think people would be happy and jolly, but I got a lot of people talking about anger and depression and marital problems. And in bars, it was really interesting because in a corner, I had a sign set up: "Hi, I'm Dr. Jami Epstein. I'm writing a book. And if you're interested in talking with me, fine. If not, no problem." And people would come up to me and would start talking about relationship issues, why they were in the bar, what they're looking for, and how alcohol played a major part in your decision to introduce themselves, not introduce themselves. When they start drinking, that inhibition lowered, and so they became super, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And that's how a lot of false conversations start. So when you talk about substance use and nutrition, there's a whole big plethora of information I'm sure you can give us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't specialize in substance abuse, but I do see where you're going with that, because yes, like you said, it does lower your inhibition. And it's when you're drinking, it actually depletes your body of nutrients, right?
Correct.
And and one of the most important things people fail to realize is a simple thing, but you need to drink water, right? And alcohol, dehydrates you. And then if you're not drinking enough water, or you tend to have brain fog, or your mood changes, or you get headaches, and you have physical ailments, and that's one of the side effects you have from intoxication, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Plus, special muscle cramps, if not drinking enough water, things of that nature. But let's talk a bit more about dehydration. Let's talk about how it affects your body physically, dehydration.
Well, like I mentioned, if you're dehydrated, our body's made up of at least 70 to 80% water or more, right?
Correct.
And everything is fluid, right? Everything is in motion. So you need water for exchange of biochemical nutrients to go in and out of your cells, right? And if you don't have enough water, there's certain functions that don't occur naturally. And then you just mentioned like muscle cramps, right? Your body's crying out to you is like, hey, I need some water, I need liquid, or you get headaches, or you get mood swings, or you have stomach cramps. So water is extremely important.
When you talk about dehydration, let's look at the people who do the marathons and the power waters and things. How effective really is those power drinks? And especially for runners, you see them all the time. Someone giving them power waters as they run past them and they're throwing the cans away. They're drinking the power water. How really effective is power water, as they would say, to the body?
Well, it depends. So the market has a lot of these energy drinks and sports drinks, and part of the thing what happens is you need electrolytes, right? So if it is
Correct.
good composition
Balance out.
to balance it out, it's fine. But if it's filled with chemicals, a lot of sugar, then it's not really helping you in any way. So you have to look at the label of what you're ingesting to pick the right type of, I guess, electrolyte composition, right?
Correct. When we talk about the labels, that's a very important piece when it comes to nutrition. Why do so many, in your opinion, as a nutritionist, why do so many people are afraid or do not know how to read labels on boxes, on cans, and things of that nature? Why do they fail so much with that?
Because the labels are so complicated, right? They're filled with a lot of long chemical names of things we cannot pronounce, or you don't even know what's in it. And the way that our society is, a lot of food are packaged and processed, and they have additives and preservatives to make it last longer. Like that's one of the things that happen with industrialization. Like in order to preserve food, you had to add stuff, and what happens when you get fresh fruits and vegetables and you let them sit out for a day or two, right?
Correct.
They start to spoil. That's because they have no preservatives, and because the natural chemistry of those items, they degrade over time. So processed foods have a lot of chemicals, and they usually take out the nutrients to prevent them from spoiling. So people have trouble reading labels and understanding them because they have a lot of chemicals. It's just a simple thing. If you don't understand what it means, and if it has more than 10 different ingredients that you can't recognize, chances are there's a lot of things in there that your body won't recognize either and won't know what to do with.
Interesting. It's interesting how people fail to read the labels and just go snatch something off the counter because it's easy. Fast foods. Fast foods are really dangerous for physiologically to our body, as we see.
Yeah, it's kind of like marketing, right? You'll put no artificial coloring or certain catchphrases on the front of the package. It's like, oh, no trans fat or no gluten or something.
No artificial flavoring type thing.
Yeah, and then people are like, oh, this is healthy. But if you turn the package around and you see 30 items in there you don't recognize, do you think that would be healthy for you?
Well, I think not putting that box right down when I don't understand it, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a simple rule of thumb. If you don't understand what's in it, you can't pronounce it, I would opt not to buy it. You want fresh things with simple labels that you can read and you can understand.
Great. Myrna, this has been very enlightening. Thank you for so very, very much. How do people get in touch with you? And because again, I understand your practice is worldwide. So how do people get in touch with you as far as working with you? And you do Zoom communication and telehealth communication. So let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so you can reach me on my website, which is Life Compass wellness.com, or my Gmail is lifecompasswellness@gmail.com. I am on Facebook, so it's Life Compass 3 is my Facebook business page. You can reach me there.
Okay. Myrna, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I want to thank you again. I'm Dr. Jami Epstein from My Life Coaching Center in New York. I'm on Facebook and Jami Epstein, and also My Life Coaching Center -NY. You can reach me at our website also at www.mylifecoachingcenterny.com. And my email address is info@mylifecoachny.com. This has been a wonderful time and great information, Myrna. Thank you so very much. I look forward to working with you again.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Take care now.
Bye.